As I've gotten older, one of the things I've become increasingly aware of is that people age very differently. Some people remain active, capable, adaptable, and engaged with life well into their later decades. And others begin becoming noticeably more fragile much earlier than expected. Of course, genetics, illness, injury, stress, and life circumstances all play a role. But I also believe many people don't just suddenly become fragile. They slowly stop practicing capability. And when I say fragility, I'm not just talking about physical weakness. I'm talking about the gradual loss of confidence, balance, strength, adaptability, resilience, movement options, a willingness to engage physically with their lives. Because fragility is often not one dramatic moment. It's a slow narrowing of what feels safe, manageable, or possible. Maybe someone stops getting down onto the floor, walking on uneven ground, carrying heavier things, using stairs regularly, reaching overhead with confidence, rotating fully, or moving quickly when it's needed. And often these changes happen so gradually that people simply begin accepting them as normal aging. Now, I'd like to be really clear here about something. This is not about blame or judgment. Bodies go through a lot in a lifetime. Life is full of so many twists, turns, bumps and bruises, pain, injuries, surgeries, stress, menopause, illness, caregiving, exhaustion, fear of falling. All of these things can impact how people move. So this conversation is certainly not about perfection. It's about awareness. One of the patterns I've observed over and over again is that when movement variability decreases, life often starts shrinking too. People may become more hesitant. Maybe they stop taking the walking trail because the terrain feels uncertain. Maybe they avoid getting down onto the floor because they're worried about getting back up. Maybe they start saying no to activities they would have enjoyed 10 years earlier. And then because they move less, the body receives less input. Less balance challenge, less strength challenge, less coordination challenge, less adaptability challenge. And over time, capacity continues to decrease further. The human body is incredibly adaptable, but adaptability has to be practiced. Strength needs to be practiced. Balance has to be practiced. Coordination has to be practiced. Confidence has to be practiced. Not perfectly, not aggressively, but consistently. Cards on the table, at 55, this conversation feels very personal to me because I don't want to spend the next decades of my life becoming increasingly disconnected from the activities and experience that make life feel full. And I have a feeling I'm part of a very big group of people that this is very normal. I'd like to continue moving confidently, exploring, carrying things, hiking, getting down onto the floor, getting up off of the floor, reacting well, adapting well, and participating fully in my life. That matters to me very deeply, and I have a feeling it does to you too. And this is one of the reasons that I care so much about functional movement. Not because movement needs to look fancy, not because everyone needs extreme workouts, but because maintaining movement capacity helps support independence, confidence, and quality of life. Functional movement can look different for everyone. For one person, it might mean rebuilding balance after years of inactivity. For another, it may mean strength training, hiking, or more athletic movement endeavors. The goal isn't to force everyone into the same mold. The goal is to help people build greater capacity for the life that they want to live. And the good news is this: the body is often incredibly responsive when we begin giving it meaningful input again. People can improve strength, balance, mobility, coordination, endurance, confidence at many different ages. That's one of the most hopeful things about the human body. So no, aging does not mean that things will stay exactly the same forever, but I also don't believe we should automatically accept unnecessary fragility as inevitable. I think we should continue practicing capability because the goal isn't just exercise. The goal is to stay healthy and remain engaged in life. If this conversation resonates with you, make sure you subscribe because we're going to keep exploring functional movement, healthy aging, strength, mobility, balance, and real-world movement in future videos. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one activity that you would love to continue to do confidently as you age? Drop it in the comments below. I'll see you next time.